Do you want to talk to your friends about topics you enjoy and get paid for it? Then download Anchor. Anchor allows you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or computer and get paid for it. They will distribute your podcast for you through one click of a button to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. An app like this should cost money, but it's free. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey, welcome back to Straight Through the Wickets. My name is Dinesh,
I'm Oculus.
and we are back after a 3-week hiatus from the show. And today we have special guests James Wynn and Amit Das.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. It's such an honor for you to invite us onto your really
No,
busy
it's
show.
an honor for us to have you guys on.
It's been on my wish list. I've been praying for this moment to come, and I'm glad, God has finally heard my call.
You'd rather be this than the number one draft pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you guys been? You guys been good?
Been terrific. How you guys been?
Could be better. But,
Honestly, if Dinesh is good, I'm good. So it's that simple. It's that simple.
All right, so I feel like we should first start talking about, let me ask you guys this question.
right.
Keeping on the basketball topic, who do you guys think is the best player right now in the NBA?
Overall.
Best overall player.
Wait, playing
Right.
or
Not
playing
clear.
or in the NBA?
Right.
Playing?
Huh?
Who is constantly playing?
I can't hear you.
I think he's saying the player who's currently, like players that are currently playing,
Play right now.
or all players.
Yes.
Just people who are
All
currently
players in the league, right? Everyone that's in the league right now. So that includes Kevin Durant, even though he's injured. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Giannis, even though he sucked against the Heat. Even though he was terrible in the playoffs, I'm gonna go Giannis.
I think it's LeBron.
Nah,
I think it's a tight race. It's been a while since I've seen KD, but from the way LeBron has been playing this season, the way that he has AD to help anchor his defense so he can devote more time to show off that he is still a great defender, I'm sorry, but I'd have to give it to LeBron James. Maybe Kevin Durant if I saw the way he was playing, but we haven't seen him for like a year now. So
yeah,
I just have to give it to LeBron James. Giannis he put up great numbers. I think it was like the highest PER ever, even though that's a bullshit stat. That's still something impressive.
yeah.
Back-to-back MVPs. He got DPOY as well. I just still don't think he's as good as LeBron, and because his game just isn't as complete. And what he is good at, I think LeBron can do at a similar, if not equal level. And what LeBron can do really well, Giannis cannot do at all.
Yeah, offensively, Giannis is very limited. He can do he's not on the same level as LeBron offensively at all.
I think Giannis, he can be on that same level. He's still like, if you watch that Heat series, there were moments where he just showed he could dominate, but his mentality still isn't there yet.
The first 5 minutes of Game 3. No,
Like-
wait, Game 4.
He just needs to work on the mentality. He needs to do what LeBron did and go to the Heat or someone, and because he can. Honestly, Ben Simmons can't get away with just not shooting threes, but Giannis kind of can. I feel like he just runs through everyone so much, because if you try to stop him, he'll pass it out. Like if you put two guys on him, he'll pass out. If not, if you try to force a three, he can just drive in or anything. And if you try to stop him, you'll foul him if you're close enough. Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like you brought up Ben Simmons, right? And I've talked to James about this before. If he could shoot the three ball, I'm telling you, because people sag off of Ben Simmons. They tempt him to shoot the three, and he chooses not to. And James told me, he was practicing over in the summer, and I still don't see him taking many three-point attempts. And that's the same with Giannis. He doesn't really take that many jumpers, not that many three-point shots. He constantly drives it to the rim. And I think James Harden made a great point. I'm not sure if you saw one of his quotes about Giannis. He was like, "Oh, the reason why he's so great offensively gifted is because he's tall as shit," right? He's seven, right? But imagine if he can actually develop a jump shot, how lethal he would be, right? So it happens it might happen over time, but we'll see what happens. Go ahead, James.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there was actually a little study on Giannis, when he came into the league, he was more of a 3-point shooter. He was like a spot up shooter. Like he wasn't insane at it. I think he was around like 34, 33%, but his jump shot motion was a lot more fluid. And if you actually look at his jump shot now, the Bucks shooting coach have
it's like even his free throw motion is very awkward. He has that little pause and his elbows are way flared out when he's going up. It's a flawed motion, and I really think that is a huge part as to why he's not a good shooter. But going back to the Ben Simmons thing, I think with Ben Simmons, it's more of a confidence issue as to why he doesn't shoot. But to Giannis, it's not a confidence issue because I think there was a game in the playoffs against the Heat where he took like 7 3-pointers and made one. Oh. Yeah, made 0. Yeah. I just think that he isn't a good shooter because of his motion. It's not confidence at all.
Yeah, it's always a win for the defense if you can just have Giannis jack up some 3. And even this stems back to what AKP was talking about earlier with his mentality. If you were watching, I don't know if this is a legit quote or not, but when the Bucks coach asked Mike Budenholzer, asked Giannis if he wanted to guard Jimmy Butler, he was like, "Why the fuck would you ask me that? Why? No, I don't want to guard him." And then it kind of reflects in his play because when people are sagging off of him, when he's not having a great game, or when the Heat were playing really tough D on him, he wasn't able to force himself offensively as much because of the way the Heat planned around him and the way they played like a zone defense against him.
I thought he said, "I'll do what the coach tells me to do." I don't think he said Jimmy Butler, I don't want to guard him, but he said, "No, I would I'll do what coach tells me to do." He didn't tell me to guard him. Like, why am I telling what I should do?
That might be something I've read and remember seeing on Bleacher Report a while ago. Like I say, it could have been some bullshit, but
Bleacher Report do be bullshit sometimes, so you gotta be careful with that, James.
But
you guys noticed, Giannis unfollowed everyone, all of his teammates on IG.
He did that last season too. That's like a bunch of baloney, man. Come on, he's like he unfollowed everyone except for his family.
That's right. You dumb as shit on it.
No. So you don't think he's gonna?
I feel like people
Bucks at all?
No, people maybe so, but I feel like people look way too much into what a player does on social media. Like it's not that serious. This may
be a hot take, but I kind of believe that Giannis sort of is a system player in the same way that LeBron kind of was a system player in Cleveland early, but he lacks like LeBron's vision and passing ability. No. You have to surround him with shooters. You have to do all of this, to cultivate your team around Giannis as a center point.
That's a fair statement. I really think LeBron wouldn't be what he is right now if he didn't go to the Heat.
He wouldn't but he would still win a championship, I feel like.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be what he is right now without what the Heat put him through.
But part of it was just how trash the Cleveland Cavaliers were. Like, they were utter garbage without, like, the team around him was just trash.
They tried, but they really were unable to do it. And part of it was just because of how good LeBron was. You aren't able to really get draft picks because of how well he's playing. And then it's kind of like, do you want to be like second string or second fiddle to some guy who's like 20 years old and he's going to be the star of the team? If you're also another star in the league, you don't really want to do that.
But the problem was they were making dumb deals too. Like they traded for hunkered down Shaq. Like they were paying him a ton of money.
Same with Ben Wallace too, right?
Yeah, they were paying them tons of money, and they were just broken down versions of themselves. Mm-hmm. And it was like right after his All-Star. I think it was like $20 million he was making, but like back then, when you think about that money, it was like supermax deal for a broken down Shaq, which it just didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
question for Amit, right?
What's up?
Right. You're a Lakers fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Heat fan.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those two teams might possibly be matching up in the finals. If they both were to match up, okay, that was a stupid question. I'm just saying, who do you think is going to win? But you're obviously going to say the Lakers because you're a Lakers fan. But
you first have to be Denver first, right? And
yeah, I'm just saying if they both were to go to the finals.
I would probably give it to the Lakers, and here's why. It's because obviously with LeBron and AD, they have more veteran experience than the Heat, right? It's gonna be Jimmy Butler's first time, right, in the finals too, right? And they have a lot of young players, a lot of young great players, not just mediocre players, great players. But I just think Lakers, Rondo, has a couple as well. I think one ring. McGee has some rings. Howard, they're all veterans that have been there before. And you saw I'm against the Nuggets and in the Rockets series. Rondo's a great player. People say he's not as good as he was with Boston, but he still got some bounce in his step and he's a great passer. So I'll give it to the Lakers. And I feel like they're a better defensive team than the Heat. And I feel like it's very tough to go against them in the paint. You have Dwight Howard, McGee, right? Davis, 3 great shot blockers, right? And I feel like LeBron has improved greatly on his defense as well. I thought his defense would take a toll because of his age, right? I feel like he would save more of his energy for his offense. But he's played, amazing on defense, right? And also, obviously, KCP and Danny Green, they're great perimeter defenders. So I feel like it's going to be good. I don't think they're going to sweep them. I feel like a lot of people are thinking it's going to be a sweep. I think it might be good 6 games. I think the Lakers will win.
I gotta say, I just find so much. I felt like there that was. I just no, I can't get with this. Like, okay, can you go through each of your points again? Like, I'll start with one of the points I remember. You said 3 great shot blockers in Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and AD, right?
Yeah.
Dwight Howard's washed up. Let's not deny it.
Dwight Howard is not.
JaVale McGee's just 7 feet tall, nothing. He's a lob machine. That's all he is.
Curry
throws up the ball, but McGee,
and you act as if the Heat don't have any good defensive players.
No, they do.
The Heat are the better defensive team.
Andre Iguodala got 2015 Finals MVP just for his defense on LeBron. Obviously, he's not the same player. It's been 5 years, but still, Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, he's a great defensive body. Bam Adebayo, he's been amazing. I'm not saying that the Lakers don't have good defensive players, and to be honest, if they do match up in the finals, I, as a Heat fan, would probably still say Lakers would win the series.
I'm riding
but
all the way.
I'm saying like it would be a tough series for both teams.
I don't think the Lakers are a better defensive team though. There's just no. Like,
why not though?
They're all like, if anything, okay, yeah, like Rondo been a great defender. Dwight Howard's been a great defender. LeBron's been a great defender. But like the thing is, okay, LeBron's still gonna do great defense in the finals because I know he's going to. But like the rest of them, they aren't on that level of the Heat. Like the Heat have a system that just runs well oiled. All the guys run it out. Like I don't think people recognize how good Iggy's probably gonna play during the finals. Like, he still has a lot on him, I feel like, and he'll turn up then. He might even guard LeBron a good amount. You said we don't have any championship experience, right? Or any playoff experience.
Andre Iguodala, Udonis Haslem.
Jimmy's not been here before. How much does coaching matter in these playoffs?
Eric Spoelstra.
Eric Spoelstra is a really good coach.
Where did Frank Vogel go? Where has
let me ask you this.
Where has he been?
Well,
he
asked you a question first. He asked you a question first, so it's respectful for you to answer and impose your own question.
Well, I have 2 questions. Where has Frank Vogel been, and where has their coaching staff been? Frank Vogel.
Let me ask. Wait, before I answer that, right? To me, when it comes to the Warriors, when it comes to teams like the Warriors and Lakers, a lot of talent on those teams, right? I feel like coaching tends to be overlooked, right, to those 2 teams. And do you think Ty Lue was a great coach for the Cavs when LeBron was on that team?
No, it was just managing personalities here, yeah. But in these playoffs,
to me, I think Frank Vogel's an okay coach, but I feel like it's LeBron that's doing his own thing there and
If I could point this out, because you were mentioning it earlier, you said coaching was overlooked on the teams, say like the Warriors with Steve Kerr. Then why'd you bring up Ty Lue? If you think both of them are mediocre coaches, why would you bring up that comparison if they played against each other in the finals? Because this is a good coach in Eric Spoelstra versus Frank Vogel, who honestly I have no idea what he's done. I have no idea what he's done.
I didn't say he was a great coach with the Lakers. I think he's an okay coach. I think Eric Spoelstra is a definitely better coach than Frank Vogel, 100%. And I feel like LeBron's best coach was Eric Spoelstra versus Ty Lue or Frank Vogel or whoever else.
So jumping back to what AKP said earlier.
What
what has Frank Vogel done?
Yeah, I agreed with him. I literally agreed with him. I didn't say. I legit just said Eric Spoelstra is a much better coach than Frank Vogel.
I think.
Let me ask you this. Wait, let me ask him this. Who do you think on the Heat can stop LeBron and AD?
Oh, listen, nobody's going to stop LeBron and AD.
No, you don't. Okay,
that's almost impossible, right? It's impossible to stop them.
No.
I think limit is a much better use of vocab there because you're not going to stop LeBron. His basketball IQ is very, very underrated.
Yeah, you're not going to stop LeBron. But Bam can.
I feel like people overlook his basketball IQ. I feel like when people talk about LeBron, they talk about his physical prowess, his athleticism, his passing vision, but nobody talks about how he can dissect the defense like he does.
Yeah, isn't passing vision and basketball IQ, like, those go hand in hand together? I feel like whenever you talk about LeBron, that's like the one thing I always think about, like how good he is at recognizing defenses and throwing people off with like misdirections, etc., etc.
Wait, no, I'll go back. I'll answer the question first. So LeBron, yeah, I know we're not exactly fully gonna stop LeBron. It's impossible, I feel like. But I will say I feel like Butler will do a good job on him. Iggy will provide minutes on him. No, they'll do their best to kind of stop him with the 2-3 machine. And then Bam, I will go out and say this: Bam can stop AD, because AD's not as good as we try to make him sound like.
Bro dropped
30. I'm sorry. In both regular season meetings that the Miami Heat and the Lakers had, AD feasted. AD was literally the factor. AD was the only reason they won in both those games, right? Well, LeBron scored a 50-point game. I think that was a long time ago. Never mind. Right. But I do think AD is the factor in the finals if the Heat and the Lakers do match up.
But here's my point. I feel like maybe you can give the nod to the Lakers for being more individually talented in terms of defense. If that is somewhat arguable, but I think I'm not as familiar with the Lakers defense, but watching how the Heat have used like their zone defense to really lock out Boston in a lot of their plays, I don't know if I can definitively say the Lakers are a better defensive team, or even argue that the Lakers are a better defensive team. But then again, I am not as knowledgeable of their defensive schemes.
Their defense is what is their defense even? Just run some man on man?
I don't know.
With Lakers?
Yeah.
No, they usually will double team one of the stars, and they'll have someone a role player shoot a three. That's what they did with the Rockets. They would double James Harden. They would pass out Russell Westbrook, and he would break a three. And that's what they did much of against Denver that first game. They were doubling either Jokic or Jamal Murray, and they would want one of the perimeter shooters to take a three ball.
So I feel like though on the Miami Heat, all but 2 players can shoot.
And the 2 players I can't shoot are just like they're
Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. The only 2 players I will definitively say are not good 3-point shooters.
Well, Jimmy's been turning up.
He's really streaky. I remember with his stint in Philadelphia, he was an extremely streaky shooter when it came to behind the arc.
But I feel like right now he's on that streak. And if he still carries on, it could happen. But I just feel like they haven't faced a well-balanced attack, in my opinion. They still haven't. Even the Nuggets aren't that well-balanced. It's Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. Great defense on that team. I'll say that. They got Jeremy Grant, Paul Millsap, and all that. But they still haven't faced a well-balanced offense attack because the Heat have Jimmy, who can drive, Gordon, who can drive, Tyler Hero, who's no one's really talking about it, but he's clutch.
Duncan Robinson.
Everyone's talking about it.
In my opinion, no. Last 2 minutes, if you want a 3-point shot, give it to Hero. People are like, oh, they'll give it to Jimmy. No. In my opinion, we should give it to Hero right now. I don't think that man misses a 3-point in the last 2 minutes. Go back and watch the tape. I don't think so. And then Duncan, as you were saying, Duncan's just crazy.
I think it'll be an interesting series, but I think it would be a fool to bet against LeBron. That's all I'm going to say.
That's fair. Fair statement.
It's always hard to bet against LeBron. Yeah.
Especially a LeBron that's angry and pissed off they didn't win MVP.
I don't think he deserved an MVP.
I don't think he deserved it either. It was a regular season award. Regular season award,
but I mean, he was. If you saw the post game conference, he was pretty upset by it. So we'll see what happens, but it'll be
he remembered some stuff. Like he
was talking about 2013, Marc Gasol made the second defensive team, but he won Defensive Player of the Year. Talking all that in his post games.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, did this man really dig that up? Like, I feel like he had that in the back of his head already. Like, I was.
You talking about LeBron?
Yeah,
he said
I feel
that.
like he still holds something against that to this day, and he's gonna hold this one against it. But like, I understand why.
If I could ask you this question on it, how well do the Lakers or are the Lakers really spacing the floor right now? Because I remember when we watched the Rockets and the Lakers play, and the Lakers play the Blazers or whatever, et cetera, their three-point shooters weren't really doing that well. And against the Heat zone, and where they really have Bam, almost sit in the paint, and they're really good at switching or running at corner shooters when they're going up, and just switching in general, and then crowding people back into Bam Adebayo. How do you really think the Lakers are going to match up against that?
Well, first off, the Lakers are not a great three-point shooting team. That's the first off. Say that. I think they're like below average. I'm not sure the team rankings and all that, but first off, with Danny Green, KCP, they're very streaky shooters, right? And with the Rockets and the Blazer series, you would see at times, right, they would like sag off of KCP or Danny Green because they wanted them to shoot, right? A lot of times when LeBron would drive in, they would collapse on LeBron and he would just kick it out to one of them, right? And then they would miss, right? So I could see the Heat doing something like that. Honestly, if the Lakers can get their three-point shooting going, then I don't see the Heat stopping them. Because I feel like anytime LeBron or AD will drive into the paint, I feel like they might come to double, and that will leave Danny Green, Alex Caruso, KCP, all of them open. And I think the Heat will be okay with them shooting versus LeBron taking it to the cup for an easy, right?
What I'm not entirely convinced of is that the Heat are really good at, disturbing corner shooters, right? Like the way that they play their defense, like I said earlier, they crowd people into Bam, and then when they force the pass out onto the corner, they usually have someone already sprinting there with like a hand coming up, etc., and it really like messes up their motion or just their ability to down the shot.
Really fast in the rotation.
A very good defensive switchability.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Their scheme, like their rotations are really, really good and usually on point.
Do you think that they should, anytime AD and LeBron do drive in on the paint, do you think they should be helped deep in that or no?
That's how they play.
Yeah, so I'm saying like we we're talking about, LeBron has really good passing ability, IQ. I don't think they maybe. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the Heat play, so I can't speak on their D or how they play. But I feel like they might let KCP and Danny Green shoot. Like they will.
I feel like, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if I was interrupting your train of thought there, but I feel like this series is really dependent, if it were to happen, because obviously, they're still playing the Nuggets, still playing the Celtics. I think it's really dependent on the X factors for the Lakers to be able to win. I think it's really based on how well their three-point shooters are able to space the floor and actually make their shots.
Exactly,
100%. Because as everyone was saying before, AD and LeBron, they'll get theirs. They'll get. But
yeah, 100%.
They won't be able to just beat the Heat on their own. And the fact that you have to rely on these people who are so streaky and against a really good like defensive. A rotating defensive team like the Heat, that's what makes me question what would happen in the series. And I was really down on the Heat going into the playoffs. Like when Jimmy Butler left Philly in the first place to go to the Heat, I was pissed because I thought he was just doing some bullshit thing, just join a team, get with a lot of girls in Miami, and just get a shit ton of money. But they're performing extremely well so far in the playoffs, and it's really surprising me, to be honest, since I never watch the Heat usually.
No, yeah. I mean, 100. I feel like you're definitely right about that point because against the Rockets, I feel like KCP played pretty well against them, right? I feel like he was hitting his shots, and same with Markieff Morris. I think, or was it Marcus Morris? I don't know which Morris is on the Lakers team, but he was shooting the three ball really well against the Rockets, and I think he had 4 threes yesterday against the Nuggets. So if they can be consistent, right, with the 3-point shooting, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat them. But I think Danny Green is probably the one that concerns me the most. I mean, he's absolutely horrible. I mean, they should probably bench him, in my opinion. But I think they leave him out there for his defense. But I feel like if Alex Caruso, Rondo, they get their own, I feel like it'll be tough to beat the Lakers.
Building off what James said, like, they have the switchability. Like, if LeBron kicks it out, someone that is guarding someone else along the perimeter will go switch onto that guy, and the guys that were helping on LeBron will switch to the, like, whoever was off. Like, they know how to switch, and they'll still, like, force the shot to be contested, and it's going to be an uncomfortable shot, even though LeBron will kick out with more than one defender on him, leaving a guy open. He'll kick it out, and they'll collapse on that guy, and then they'll try to pass to the next open man. However, with the way the Heat switch, they'll be able to just, like, cover that man too, and just force the Lakers to have to reset or something, or just force a shot up last 2 seconds or something, you know. So I think we have the rotations and everything to stop the Lakers.
I think another thing is with the Lakers is they play very fast, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're the number 1 or number 2 with fast break points, right? Anytime the opposing team misses, they quickly kick it out and they start running, right? So, like, I get what you're saying about switchability and all that, but do you think that the Heat will be able to recover in time? Because I think the Lakers are number 1 in fast break points. So,
out of all the teams left in the playoffs right now, so far in the playoffs, I'm sorry for interrupting you, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Lakers have the highest pace. While out of all the teams left in the playoffs, out of the 4 teams, Miami has the 3rd slowest pace.
Isn't that the 2nd fastest pace?
No, it's the 3rd.
So wait,
out of all the teams left, they have the 3rd slowest pace.
Whoa, pause. You got it's Lakers number 1 in pace, Miami number 2, Boston, Denver.
So it's number 2 in, like, speed.
Yeah, number 2 and number 1, but Lakers play at 100, and
here's
the pace of Miami is 96.5.
It's not that Miami can't push the pace. They can stick with anyone on pace. Like, no one's outrunning the Heat. It's as simple as that. Like, even if they don't push the pace, listen. I know this won't fully make sense with this, but, like, who has the most infamous conditioning test? It's not like that conditioning test is not lasting till long. Like, they're still able to run down on anyone, in my opinion. They just don't push the pace themselves. But I feel like they'll be able to recover and play with the speed of the Lakers. Considering they're more well-rested, they're able to handle that conditioning and, like, that speed and everything. So I don't think the Lakers are going to outrun them or something, which is basically what pace is, in my opinion.
My thing is this, is like when LeBron comes burning down the court, right? As however fast he is, he fucking looks like a fucking rhino going down the fucking court. A lot of times teams will just take the foul, right? So do you think the Heat are gonna either foul him to stop the fast break, or do you think their defense is gonna stop him? And usually it's like a 3-on-2 fast break or 2-on-1.
But it's like, I feel like you're just gonna have that Bam block on Jason Tatum again, except on LeBron this time, or someone else is gonna step up and block. Like, they're gonna come back. They're gonna try to recover.
The Bam block wasn't in on a fast break.
Yeah, I know, but, like,
do you think Bam was gonna be running down the court to, like, that was, but it wasn't on a fast break. That was just him going up on Jason.
If I remember right, didn't Jimmy have a chase down block the other day, or someone, like Jimmy or Iggy or someone had a chase down block that was like the famous LeBron James, like, 2015 finals. I can't remember right. I might be wrong, but
I know in the first game of the season, Bam had a chase down block on Eric Bledsoe to save the game. I feel like everyone has that pace, but I feel like the Lakers are just they're a hard team to stop.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know if you guys have been watching. If you guys watched the Nuggets and Lakers game, that's just what I'm going off, because that's what's most fresh in my head right now. But Rondo and Anthony Davis have a great connection, right? You see a lot of times that Rondo will be throwing these lob passes. I think he threw 3 or 4 against the Nuggets, and AD can go up there and get it. I feel like he's a player that I don't think anyone on the Heat can stop. And like you said, Bam Adebayo, that'll be a great matchup. But in my opinion, I feel like Jokic might be a better matchup against AD than Bam Adebayo.
But Jokic isn't as defensively He's not
He's
defensively.
He's an ass.
Yeah, Jokic is terrible defensively.
He's
No,
an
he's a good
ass.
defensive player.
He is an ass defender. That's what he provides. This is why I say he's arguably the best center in the league. I am a little biased. I still have to give that to Joel Embiid, but Nikola Jokic is a dog doo-doo defender. He's ass. He's not going to be able to contain AD, and he's definitely not going to be able to defend anyone as well as Bam Adebayo does.
See, I feel like because when I saw the Nuggets and the Clippers series, I feel like he was doing a great job against Kawhi Leonard. He was driving Jokic when he was driving to the paint. I feel like he was doing a great job against him. I'm not sure if you watched those games, but I feel like that's what a lot of times Kawhi was setting for jumpers. And I'm not saying he's a bad jump shooter. He's a great.
I think he's the best mid-range shooter right now.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, 100%. But I feel like a lot of times Kawhi Leonard would drive to the paint against Jokic, and Jokic. I'm probably showing multiple highlights of him.
That's actually been happening for quite a while now, from what I've seen. Like the Maverick series itself, he kept on doing that too. Like I don't know what it is between this year and last year, because last year he would use his long arm, his long hands, and reach over and like make a dominant play. But from what I've seen these playoffs, he's kind of just went for the mid range. Like I feel like there's something in him that's just not as aggressive. Even when this is the time he usually turns up, like he's just not doing that this year like he did last year. From what I've seen. So I don't think it's not in a way to say Jokic is bad. I just think it's more Jokic was there, Kawhi got scared and just shot it. From what I've seen these playoffs.
That's fair. That's fair. I just felt like I don't know. I feel like the Clippers, they should have been more aggressive. I don't know if that was just like a mentality thing, that they were just so focused on the Lakers that they lost. To the Nuggets, but I just think it was might have been a mentality thing with the Clippers. I feel like they were looking so forward to face the Lakers. I feel like they overlooked the Nuggets, so I feel that would have been a great series. I think the Clippers would against the Lakers. I feel like it might have been a better matchup compared to. I had the Clippers win the whole thing too, so
that was me too. I thought they would win it.
I think the biggest thing here was I think Paul George was talking about how like the whole chemistry thing because it's the first time they're playing together, right? Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So I feel like in my opinion, I'm kind of against it now, seeing it with Kawhi Leonard load managing. I feel like if he might have played those games in regular season, it might have improved the chemistry between him and Paul George and his teammates. Yeah. Because I feel like look with LeBron and AD, right? First time they were together too, right? Kemba, first time with the Celtics too, right? Jimmy Butler, first time with the Heat too. I feel like it's very important you play those regular season games, right, to develop that chemistry, right? And you saw with the Bucks too, right? They didn't have any OTAs, any preseason games. Brady goes in there for his first game. There's no chemistry. Him and Mike Evans, Godwin too. So it's like I feel like if Kawhi Leonard maybe played more games in the regular season, I feel like the Clippers would have maybe played better, but I feel like at the end of the day they choked, right, against the Nuggets, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, blown a 3-1 lead is tough. So.
One thing on that point was I think that's what separates the Clippers and how far the Heat have gone. Like Clippers didn't oil, obviously, like they didn't get themselves ready, but like if you look at the 6 players that are mainly playing for the Heat right now, 3 of them weren't really playing last year. Like Duncan, like he was on the team last year, but not really that much.
Duncan played like 28 minutes overall the whole season. So
yeah, Tyler Hero he wasn't even here last year, and Jimmy wasn't here, or neither was Jay Crowder. So like 4 of the 6 guys that played heavy minutes last game weren't even with the Heat last year.
I feel like they all. I mean, Jimmy and Jay have relationship from Marquette.
But are you really calling Marquette experience right now onto like?
No. Listen, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they have good chemistry because of their previous relationships and how they've connected as a team throughout the season.
Yeah, but yeah, like the reason the Heat are this far is because they play every game. They play fully. I mean, actually, 6 out of the 10 guys that even played minutes last game weren't with the Heat last year.
That's it, yeah, you know.
So it's like the Clippers could have won it if they just did that. If they actually played every game.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, I think Kawhi Leonard load managed because, like, oh, it worked for me last season again with the Raptors, right? We won a ring, right? So let's hope it works with the Clippers. But I mean, I don't think he should have load managed, in my opinion. I don't know. And then they're saying he was injured and stuff. I mean, I don't know if that is true or not, but. And then people were saying Paul George and Leonard were missing practices too. They weren't going to practices, things like that. I feel like shit like that just like it ends up biting you in the ass when it counts the most, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Looking at LA lifestyle. So that's the episode. Thank you, James and Amit, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Again,
it was really fun.
Absolute pleasure and honor to be on straight through the wicket.
And next time we gotta talk some cricket, man.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Whenever you want to.
The IPL started today, right?
Yeah, Mumbai Indians versus Chennai Super Kings.
That's gonna be a really good.
Dhoni, CSK.
Yeah, CSK won.
It was pretty close. I mean, I don't know IPL standards.
No, it was pretty close. It went down to the 20th over.
All right, thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.
All right, y'all.